Chiefs got off to a blazing start with a fresh round of rookies and a game that probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. Let's get into the Chiefs breakdown. Welcome back to RGR. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue on the Kansas City Chiefs as well as the rest of the NFL. Together with my team here at RGR, we're putting out a ton of content for you all over the place. And one of the things that I usually do every postgame is called Chiefs Breakdown, where I go through my notes and what I saw from the game as it happened before we get to the All-22, before we get to everything in terms of the statistics and everything that put together in analysis afterwards. Well, to start week one, it was a really tight timeline. Had to get the podcast done, a lot going on. So Dan stepped in there. I thought Dan did a good job late at night trying to get out an opinion piece for you. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out from last night and give him a little bit of credit because he put a lot of work into it. We're going to keep working on the schedule, but normally it will be my classic live stream post game with my stream of thought about from my notes on the games. You get it immediately before we have to get into any of the extended analysis. But that's going to be taking place today. And from what we got, obviously, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is at the top of the marquee for what he did. And I think he really showed you what I've been telling you for a few weeks. His fit within this system is so good that there was almost no way that he wasn't going to be good. I had no idea that it was really going to be not only that explosive after he got into the rhythm of the game, but also that because of the plays, because of the way the game went, a little bit because of the weather as well, that Clyde was going to be such a focal point. So it really worked out in a great way for not only Clyde, the rookie, to get his feet wet, to get used to the speed of the NFL game, not having had any preseason to do that. But it also went a long way to see what this offense can be when it has to be more well-rounded. Now, there are going to be folks that are going to tell you, hey, this isn't going to be the Chiefs offense. They're going to go back to bombing it, and they might. It all depends on what I see is a maturation of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in just doing the simple thing. Put it where they ain't. This is what it comes down to. If they're going to see too high coverage all the time, if they're going to see cover fours a lot more, which I do expect, I've been telling you guys that all summer, the reciprocal action is to bring things in, to run shorter patterns. Patrick only attempted 2 passes beyond 19 yards, and I think that's definitely a sign of what the defense was giving him, and he was taking the opposite. It's also going to give you a little bit more run. Now, I never dreamed to hope that they might have a balanced offense like they did, where they actually ran more against the Texans than they threw. That probably is never going to happen again. That's just not common. But if they can get to that 40-45 range, that's perfect. Where you're having that balance, you're drawing the defense up a little bit, and that's what Clyde can do. I thought Darrell had a couple of good runs. He also had a couple where I thought he didn't take advantage of his opportunity very well. So I expect the balance to be about the same, where you're going to see Clyde have 3/4, 60%, somewhere around there of the touches, and Darrell will take over after that. Interesting thing is that Clyde didn't catch a pass. So there's a lot of offense left to come just from Clyde. That said, moving on to another thing that really stood out to me about the offense was that as good as Clyde was, it wasn't all Clyde that got this done. The guards didn't get enough credit. Assembly got some face time at least, or voice time from the telecast. But I don't think it really went far enough to show you just how good he was at moving the pile. That helped on those interior runs. And the guy that got no pub from the talking heads is Andrew Wiley, who actually was the guy that they ran behind the most for the most yards and the most effect. I thought he had a really good game. Some against J.J. Watt, to give him credit, but some not. Had a free agent in there starting. Had P.J. Hall, who played a good game. Charles Omeni, who played inside quite a bit this game in terms of his snap counts, about 60%, where he's normally an end. So it was not exactly the most stout front that we've seen from the Texans in the last few years. So great way to start for Wiley. I want to see him keep it up, and that's what I'm going to be keying in on. But those two guys in particular, I thought were really what changed the offense and allowed them to do what they wanted to do in slowing it down and bringing it in and actually letting Clyde get some experience. On the defensive side of the ball, got a ton of questions, of course, about the rookie class there. A lot of questions. Travarius Ward has fractured his hand. He has, as of I'm recording this, having surgery, and they're not sure what it's going to be. There is a scenario where he puts a cast on it and he plays with a club. It depends on what that fracture is. I don't have the details. They haven't released what bone it is. There are so many bones inside of one of these. It could be something that's castable and playable. It could be something that is much more significant. We're just going to have to wait to find out. But that does put the emphasis, with Bashaud Breeland out, on what LJ Sneed did. Another rookie stepping up into a bigger role. Had a little bit of a rough first quarter. Honestly, I don't blame him a bit. Having not played any preseason, I think all the rookies kind of took a slow start. LJ stepped up big time, and I've been telling you guys about him since pre-draft. It showed against the Texans exactly what I've been telling you he can be. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen every week. Will Fuller's got great speed, and LJ did stay with him a number of different times, but he's not Keenan Allen. That's coming next week. He's not going to be Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown can run away from him, so there's that as well. So this is definitely a great step forward for LJ Sneed. I'm really excited about him, probably as much as anyone, including Clyde, because I didn't expect him to get thrown into the fire so much so early, but I thought he responded really, really well. And that's going to do him a lot of favors as the team ticks forward, especially if Ward does have to miss time. You could see Sneed starting for quite a bit, even after Bashaud Breeland returns, maybe opposite him where Ward should be. The question mark that we haven't gotten any confirmation about is Fenton. Fenton played early and then had a long drought where Sneed came in and actually started getting his naps. And then with the Ward injury, Fenton came back in. I'm not sure if that was a small injury or something that was nagging him or something, scheme-wise that they wanted to get away from. But I will say I expect him to be higher in the reps next week. And obviously, depending on whether Ward's available or not, I think he'll be starting at one side or the other. The cornerback group is one to watch. Could they pick up a free agent? It's possible. They don't have a whole lot of room. I think they're back at 13 now with the revised salary cap, so I'm not 100% how much of that they want to spend. I'm not big on Prince and Mukamara. I've gotten a lot of questions about that so far. Not a guy that I'm going out to go get, but is definitely an opportunity. We'll see if they actually choose to go that direction or not. Then we have the big question mark. The linebackers did not play overly well. I had them beaten coverage quite a number of times. I had them miss a couple of runs where they should have had good fits and should have been able to stop the run. I'm thinking specifically of the Johnson touchdown and a couple others. So there's definitely some uptick that has to happen there. Matt House has to get on those guys and get that straightened out. But Willie Gay didn't play. And I know a lot of fans are really excited to see him. I'm excited to see him too. But there's obviously something that isn't quite ready yet, and that's okay. Well, he didn't play much last year at college. He didn't play a ton before that, to tell you the truth. So he's very limited in his experience, and he's got a lot to see and a lot to see quickly that is probably a little bit more of a transition for him than any of the other rookies because of experience even last season. It's been quite a while since he played any meaningful snaps, and that actually slows you down. If you're slow, you get to be in a position that people can make plays on you. So don't worry about it. I don't think this is an indication of anything negative for the long term. It's just going to take them a little bit more time to get up to speed. That said, I thought the front played well all the way around. I thought Mike Dana, another rookie, was a really nice surprise, to tell you the truth. I didn't expect him to get that much time. He got that because of Alex Okafor's injury, which is a hamstring pull. And I don't think it's going to be terribly significant and permanent, but you saw Tano started the game against the run. I thought he played solidly in the first quarter. And then Alex Okafor came on and actually made a couple of plays. He got some pressures to go along with the other two, the monster duo in Chris Jones and Frank Clark, that I thought played a really nice game. I thought Jones in particular, coming off that huge contract and a lot of question marks about whether he would maintain his motivation, he certainly showed it game one. I look for more of that, and I expect him to want to make that run it back run and be a leader there. So look for more from Chris Jones. I thought he played a good game, and I was really happy to see that early. Frank Clark as well. Frank ran a little bit too far around. He didn't quite turn the corner as much as I wanted him to. He ended up being farther from the quarterback most plays than even Tano. So there is some curvature there that needs to be worked on. He got pushed out wide quite a bit. So I think Frank had a good game, obviously aggressive and showed his motor. Also had a couple of plays where I think he really could have been more powerful in turning that corner more quickly and more efficiently to get to that quarterback. That said, Deshaun didn't really hurt him a whole ton with their legs. A couple of scrambles, not a big thing. I thought overall that was a good start. The defense gave up some yards early, like we saw, but rather than waiting a whole quarter or a whole half like we saw very often in 2019, Spags had to turn around, made some adjustments, got a little more aggressive early, and I thought that really corrected them a lot earlier in this game than we saw very commonly in 2019. So overall, I'm pretty excited. We're going to have to watch those injuries this week. I'll take the defense this week, I think. We'll let Dan do the offense. We're going to break down a couple of plays, a couple of players for you. We will have film. We get a little extra time because of the long week, and then we're going to get back into the normal flow of things. We'll have the normal schedule this week, Monday night Q&A, where I'll answer all of your questions. We'll get into the film and a look at the analysis, and then we'll get ready for the next week against the Los Angeles Chargers. So that's it for me today. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the games that are slated for this opening weekend of the NFL. We'll have more for you next week. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.